Welcome to the VAL meeting, August 19th, 2025. And the agenda for today is I'd like to start off and have Nicole Green share with you about the financials. And then we'll talk a bit about the solicitation for the third-party vendors. And then we'll focus on questions about the elections, the BVC election process, and then we'll go into the questions that I've received thus far. Okay, so with that being said, Nicole Green, you want to kick it off for us?
Okay. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I hope you all having a great morning. Today I will
Can
be
you guys hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello?
But we can hear you. Someone's speaking right now.
Yes, this is Jessie Brooks, and I brought Baldwin Evans in on my line. She couldn't get in. I'm here.
okay.
What's the name of the added person, Ms. Brooks?
Baldwin Evans.
Rowan Evans.
Okay.
Oh,
All right. Thank you.
one second, Nicole. I'm
Okay.
so sorry. We just had a caller join with the last four digits 8568. Are you able to give me your name, please?
Burhana Kidani.
Can you say that again?
Burhana Kidani. You got it?
Rowan Evans. Mr. Evans?
Mr. Kadani, who's on now.
Kadani.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Burhan Kadani.
Thank you.
All right. I'm sorry, Nicole, go ahead.
Okay. Good morning again, everyone. Today I'll be presenting the BVC reporting for the period of October 1st, 2024 through August 18th, 2025. First, I'll start with the carryover from FY24, and that was in the amount of $49,351.00. Since then, we've collected FY25 year-to-date commission checks, $1,543,587.84. Those two combined totals we paid out one in assigned and unassigned vending commission, $1,513,628.79. And I'll then provide you a breakdown of each month, each assigned payments versus the first quarter, second quarter, and third quarter payouts. So for the assigned payments through August 18, 2025, we paid out $937,535.78. For the first quarter for unassigned commission, that was paid out in January, we paid $160,187.29. Then in April, the second quarter unassigned commission, we paid a total of $178,763.36. And then the most recent third quarter payout that happened in July was $237,142.32. In addition to those payouts, we also pay management services year to date, and that consists of travel and petty cash, and that totaled $34,317.41, leaving a year-to-date balance of unassigned and assigned of $44,992.64. Alrighty, so for as far as what we collected and levy, we collected $270,951.13 for the entire FY 25 calendar year to date. And then I'm moving on to maintenance and equipment, which was paid out of local dollars. We paid $24,482.26. And then year-to-date expenditures paid against our purchase orders, which is local dollars, it's $209,988.92. And that concludes my reporting for the financials for the Randolph Shepherd program.
Thank you, Nicole. And as always, she will send this information out. Do we have any questions about the financials?
Yes, good morning. My name is Nicole Taylor, and I have a question. I just noticed that you said you paid out $237 for the last third quarter pension, but on the financials, there was an estimate of $338,000 for the vendors to receive. So since I've been in the program, the financials always send out a quarterly, letting all the vendors know how much their pension is, and it was always correct, the correct amount. So that's my discrepancy. Why, what happened? Why did it say we were going to receive $338 but did not receive that?
Good morning, Ms. Nicole. Thank you for your response. Unfortunately, we only have one pot of money, and what I've communicated to the community was what we received at the time, and that was July the 2nd. Since then, we've had to pay out a sign commission and various petty cash payments. So of which totaled over $100,000, which left a balance of $237,000. So my apology, but we only have one bucket, so we were just trying to be as transparent as possible.
Okay, so in the future, are we going to get the accurate estimate, the accurate amount for our pension payment like we've always got the accurate amount in the past?
Okay, unfortunately, we have checks that come in, like checks may have came in today, like while I'm sitting here. So I would hate to give you a number and say that that's final when there's actually other funding or, money coming in. So we would try to stay as close as to the estimation as possible while keeping everything as far as financials are concerned as transparent as possible.
Okay, and then thank you for that answer. And the second part was just that management services, they always broke it down in the past. Like if it was for fair minimum return was being paid out, if the agency had to provide payroll support, if there was some type of training that needed to be conducted for a vendor, whether bringing in a consultant for training. So we don't get that broke down under management services. So could you tell us what exactly has been paid out under management services?
Yes. Give me 2 seconds. Let me pull that up. So under management services, we paid out, and just for the sake of time, we paid out petty cash. We've given various people who started up new sites petty cash, some totaling $7,500, some totaling $10,000. Then we also paid reimbursement for travel for various individuals that were traveling out of state. So there was like various things, but if you wanted me to give you like line by line, then I can do that as well. But for right now, it's just that it's petty cash and payout for travel.
Okay, thank you. In the future, if you could give us line by line, that would be great. And then I just have one last thing to say. In the past, the monitors were never copied on my financials. It was always just the financial department. That's it. And if the financial department had a question regarding what facility each vendor has, because I know we do have, new financial people working, then that question can be answered by the Randolph-Shepherd supervisor, who's also copied on the email as well. So in the future, I would just like to say that the monitors do not need to be copied on any financial report for myself.
Received.
Okay. I'd like to interject in there. The monitor should be
I found
available
these
to.
Christmas lights. Yes,
Hello, can you hear me?
yes.
Okay, so I was saying the monitor
Oh,
should.
oh my goodness, so cute.
Hey, excuse
I'm
me, please
sorry,
turn off your
someone else-
microphones. Please mute your microphones.
The monitor should be copied because, as
hey,
you know, they're coming out and
And
they're
then there's this,
doing.
like, tweezers.
Can you
Okay.
mute your mic, please?
I muted.
Okay. As you know, they're coming out and they're doing performance evaluations. And one thing they look at is to see whether or not you have submitted your P&Ls on a regular basis. Then they're beginning to do trend analysis as well. So it's key that they're looking at this information. So that's why they need to see it. So.
Well, I disagree, Ms. Von Roach, because they've never had to see it in the past. And they don't work for the financial department. And when you have to keep vendors, information privacy, it should only be within the financial department.
Okay,
That's just my opinion.
Okay, well, I appreciate your opinion, but when they are assigned a particular facility, then that means that they're privy to everything that goes on with that particular facility because they're responsible for that. So, but thank you for
Well,
your.
this is new because it never been done before. So I guess that's why I would have just out of the blue, it's being done. So thank you. Thank you for the answer.
Okay, thank you. All right, are there any other questions?
Yes, this is Marie Bolden. I was wondering if I misheard something or what. How much did you collect and levy from us vendors?
I'm Ms. Bolden.
Hi, how are you?
Hello, I'm fine. Give me 2 seconds. I closed it out. I'm sorry. We collected in levy payments $270,000, $951.13.
And did I hear you only spent $24,000 in equipment and maintenance out of all that money? Maybe I misunderstood it or something. I don't know.
Well, because there's $24,000 in maintenance of equipment that's local, we also spent $209,988.92 in local too, which offset that total. So that was just maintenance and equipment, the $24K, but then we also spent or paid $209,000. So it's a cumulative total of those two totals are $234,471.18. So of that.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
May I ask a question? This is Jessie Petaway. How do you go about getting things done with equipment and so forth? I'm hearing that you're spending out money on equipment, but I've been asking for certain things for years and I never get anything. So I'm constantly paying my levy on time, all the time, even though I'm not getting all my money. But I never get what I need. So how do you go about everyone getting what they need?
Okay, let me see. I'm going to answer that. There is a new process in place where we have to complete purchase request forms. So anything that's needed, whether it's a service, equipment, or what have you, the monitors complete that, and then it goes through a process to acquire materials, if you will. So with that process in place, everything is vetted the same way. So, and another piece of this is that we do check the storage area just to make sure that there isn't any equipment already there, because that would be the first place to satisfy your request. But I just want to let you know there is a system in place now.
And our apology, Ms. Petaway Brooks, but your program monitor will be contacting you to right-size anything that's outstanding, so our apologies.
Thank you.
Well, this is Marie Bolden again. I'm hoping that you could do the same for me. My snack box started to be remodeled over a year ago, and it's still sitting just like it is. So, you were saying this new operation that you go into will ensure all of us vendors to get what we need? Because I've been told over and over again that, oh, I'm coming tomorrow, or I'm doing this. Since you have so much money, it seems to me that everyone who needs equipment or whatever they need should be able to get it.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Bolden, for your question. And yes, you are on the radar. We are aware of your situation.
Oh, I'm quite sure. I know you are. But I'm just wondering. I've been told that several times, many, many times. So, okay.
Yes,
I'm on the radar.
Yes, we're working your request through the system as we speak. Okay. Well, thank you all for the questions regarding the financials. We appreciate everything that Nicole and her team is doing. And so with that being said, we'll move on to the solicitation process. As you are aware, a while back, we discussed having the assigned vending facility commission and vending machine commission come directly to those persons that it's assigned to make it more efficient. And as a result of that, discussions with your representatives, and that took place in June, and also with the third-party vendors, a solicitation went out from the contracts office here, and that they went out on July 24th. And so now we're waiting for them to respond back, whether they're interested in the solicitations to do just that, provide you all with direct payments. And the implementation date is October 1st. So, yeah. Any questions in regards to this?
This is Miss Bolden again. I don't like the idea of the third parties having my bank account number. I think that we should have been notified even earlier so we could make arrangements to do what we want. I just don't see soda company employees and stuff having my bank account number. And how do you know that they will be paying us the amount that we deserve? I thought that the SLA was partially there also to oversee that we don't get cheated or treated wrongly or anything like that. So how can you guarantee that they will be sending us the amount that we earn or deserve?
Thank you for your questions, Ms. Bolden. I'll start with the second one. While the third-party vendors will be sending you direct payment with supporting documentation, that same supporting documentation will be going to the operations area as well. So that's how it will be monitored. The operations area being Nicole and Jeremy. I'm going to defer to Nicole in regards to the bank account information.
Hey, Ms. Sharon, I would have to refer back to Antoinette regarding this piece or this
Okay.
portion of it, and I'll get back with you regarding that.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Mhm.
So, Ms. Bolden, there is a check and balance, so there'll be double eyesight on what you receive, and operations will be double checking that as well. Anyone else have questions about the solicitation process for the third-party vendors to pay you directly?
This is for sale.
Yes.
Okay. If there is a direct payment from the third party, then whose responsibility is to do the levy?
Okay, let me see if I understood your question. You said if there's a direct payment from the third-party vendor, whose responsibility is it to pay the levy?
No, to do the assessment for the levy.
To do the assessment.
Operations will still maintain that their position in that. So we'll still be sending you out your P&Ls.
Okay.
I have a question.
Right now.
Okay, Mr. Stevenson?
Yes, regarding the percentages that we receive, I have a disparity between different amounts from different places that I receive commissions from. How would that be handled? Determining, what percentage we get.
Okay, so in the solicitation, it quotes the reference back to the federal regulation as to what percentages will be paid. And that is the base, if you will. So we anticipate the third-party vendors will continue to pay what they have been paying. We don't know otherwise. When they respond back to solicitation, something else may materialize, but at this point in time, we just know that they're required to pay at least what is in the solicitation of beverages, 21%, snack and sundry items, 13%. Well, we don't have gumballs anymore, 25%, and micro markets at 12.6%.
All right, thank you.
Wait, I'm sorry, Ms. Von Roach. What your micro markets are at 13.9%.
Okay. That is what they are currently being paid at now. And what I quoted was a minimum of what the third-party vendors can pay. So again, yeah, okay.
One more question. You say you don't have a gamble machines anymore, but there is a lot of gamble machines. I see that building and some other buildings too.
Okay, well, thank you for that. Then stated that. I was not aware of the gumball machines, but thank you for informing me of that.
Ms. Von Roach, this is Eunice Miles. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Ms. Miles?
I'm doing well. So during the negotiating with the third-party vendor, isn't it federal practice that there is an increase actually every year? So I would think that there would have been some kind of increase. We should have renegotiated the contract, I think maybe a year ago. But typically, and I'm sure you are aware of this, I think the minimum is 2.5 increase. And I'm trying to remember the last contract that we had with them, if it was built into each year. But of course, they would have known that.
Yeah. Trying to find a document here. Okay. There isn't any baseline automatic increase. When quote unquote said negotiation occurred a while back, that was done in error based on an interpretation of regulation at that time, but now, further review dictates that that negotiation should not have happened. So going forward, there really isn't any need to renegotiate said percentages.
Okay, so I understand that, but I'm just thinking when the negotiations took place, is it, I guess, first of all, is the contract for a year, or is it for 2 years, or is it for 5 years? And if it is either of those scenarios, was any percentage negotiated for the following years?
Yeah,
I mean, everybody gets an increase, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there were no percentage increases, and gosh, off the top of my head, I don't see how long the solicitation is good for. I'll have to get back to you all on that. I'm not sure if Andy is on or not.
No, he's not.
He's not. Okay, I've written down the question and I will follow up on that.
What are you doing?
Okay, so I'll follow up on that.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
So will the purveyors be sending us a direct deposit form, or is that something that the agency will be sending to the purveyors? And also our quarterly unassigned pension payments, how would that be dispersed? Will that continue to be dispersed through DDS?
Let's say yes.
The operations area, Nicole, they're going to be instrumental in making sure that they work with each one of you to set up the accounts and make sure that the transactions occur as they should.
So are you saying as far as the pension payment, how would that be dispersed? the same way it's being dispersed now? Because is that going to be dispersed directly through the vending companies for the quarterly unassigned payment?
They
That
would not have the ability to do that. They would not have the
Right.
ability to do that.
right, that would,
Okay, that's why I was asking.
yeah, the
Right.
unassigned.
Good question.
Yes, thank you for the
Mhm.
question. The unassigned will still be dispersed through operations as it's currently, is conducted. It's only the
Okay.
assigned that will come directly from the third-party vendors.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Okay, and Ms. Von Roach, and I guess we'll be getting information about the details of that from Nicole Green,
Yes,
the
once,
details of how
yes,
that's gonna work. Okay.
yes, you will.
Okay.
Okay. These are great questions. Let's see. And the next thing on the list is about if I have no other questions about the solicitation process, the next item is about the BVC election. I understand there was a time frame for it to occur, but because of whatever circumstances that happened, I guess a year ago, the current BVC wasn't sworn in until February 2024. But according to the regulations, it states that members on a BVC have to serve a 2-year term. So if they weren't sworn in until February 24, then that means they need to serve until February 2026. So I've been asked questions like, well, when will the process begin? I anticipate starting the process at the beginning of the new fiscal year. So I'm shooting for October. This is the first time I've been through this. So, I'll need to start early so that I can make sure I cover everything that should be, covered in the past. Any
Ms. Von
other?
Roach,
Yes,
yeah, I have a question. This is Eunice.
yes.
So, let me just be clear. Somebody still did not mute their phone. So you're gonna start the process in October. So when do you, and I know because you've not done this before, but do you anticipate the voting happening shortly after that or before the year is up? And the reason I ask that is because even though the current BBC didn't get sworn in until February of the following year, after the voting, they started serving. So does that count? They actually started serving. They did not start serving in February. Once all the votes were
That's not true. That's not true, Eunice. That's not true.
That's not true, Eunice.
That's not true,
You did
Eunice.
not start serving?
That's not. No, we did not. No, we did not. We did not.
Okay, well, watch your tone. That's okay. I could be wrong. Nobody
Okay.
said
No,
you.
I'm just.
So we
I wasn't
assume-
sure that you could hear me because I have
Oh, I
5
can
people
hear
on
you.
my phone and they've been trying to talk, but apparently they're not coming through. So I wasn't sure if you could hear
yeah.
me. But no, that's not
Oh, yeah,
true.
yeah. I can hear you very clearly.
Okay.
I just assumed that you did, because typically
Yeah.
that is what happens. I did not know that you guys were not serving.
The
No, we were
official-
not.
Yeah, again,
Okay.
the official clock begins when you're sworn in. So that's why the time has changed, because I received another question like, well, what will be the time frame going forward? Well, it will be the February, that will be the time frame now. But these are good questions as well. And, I'll say this with any election. I'm not just saying just germane to the Randolph Shepherd, but any type of election, that's an opportunity for everyone to use their voice to, make choices that they would like to see implemented. And, it's an opportunity for change if that's what you're seeking, but that's a time to capitalize on your committed um, opportunity and capability to voice what you would like to see going forward.
Thank you. And
Thank you.
therefore, when could I say something? Yeah, Ms. Von Roach, you're right. So there is no need for us to grumble over elections. There's vendors here on this phone has served 16, 17 years, but we the election is for us. So I don't know why we vendors worrying about the election or who's on it and who isn't. We all have a way, as Ms. Von Rose say, to voice our opinion of what we feel when election comes. So I think that when whoever gets on the election, we vendors should let them serve in peace.
Let me just, and I don't know if that question or that comment was directed at me.
Now, Eunice, it's not. It was not. I was just
okay, all
speaking
right, because
for all
I
of
was
us.
just,
That's too much time.
right. No. It was just a question because I was under the assumption that the board was functioning. So that's my error.
Oh,
And,
well, we have worked hard. When we weren't on the committee, we never meddled and said anyone else was not working. We worked hard. You may not like what we've done, but we have. I mean, so, I just think that we shouldn't talk about the committee with each other because when you all if you voted on, I will accept that and will be there to do anything I can to help. So, I don't know why we go over about the committee, who we don't like or don't like. So, anyway.
Can I just say something? I know currently the BVC only has 6 positions filled. Did the BVC fill their 7th position?
No, Mr. Propiter, Dan Propiter, was the next one in line. I have called Mr. Propiter, but I have not got an answer or call back. So what can I do? I mean, Mr. Propiter, I think, is the one that's fill that spot because he had the most votes earlier after the committee was, elected. So yes, Mr. Propiter is on the phone now, and I would like to ask him, would he accept the position that's vacant on the BVC?
No, I really don't want to serve on the committee at this time. So.
Okay. So, Ms. Von Roach, we have to find out who had the next vote and ask them if they wanted to serve.
Okay, I'm noting that. I'm not sure who keeps.
We cannot. I don't know. We cannot. I have called the Metropolitan Ears to see if they had any information so we could find out who is in order of most votes. So until then, there will be a vacancy there. We're just trying to find someone to fill it, the right person who's supposed to fill it, if they so desire to do so.
Okay.
And Marie, do you all still have a community person on the promotion and transfer committee?
Well, to be honest with you, the promotion and transfer has had a lot of problems with the SLA and so forth. No, I don't know. Now, Ms. Von Roach might be able to tell you who the community person is. We can't function without doing what the rules say do. So
Right.
I don't think that the BBC promotion and transfer knows who the community person. Maybe Ms. Von Roach can answer that. It's not that we have not tried, but Ms. Von Roach, can you answer that question? Who is the community person on the BBC, on the promotion and transfer? Because we wondering ourselves.
Okay, so to make a long story short, there was a name that was presented from the BVC to serve on the community, to serve as the community representative. The SLA has the right to agree or disagree. We disagreed on
Right.
that, and then we presented another name, and I'm so sorry, the name escapes me right now, but I can find it. Maybe Jelani may remember the name, but we never heard back from you guys as to whether you accepted it or rejected it. So that's kind of where we are right now. Jelani, do you remember the person's name? I know they work for a nonprofit organization.
I'm trying to remember. I want to say maybe the Melinda.
No,
No, it was a
it's
gentleman.
another. It's a gentleman. Yes.
Yeah, I can't think of the name myself
Okay.
either.
Okay, well, I'll go back through, look through emails and stuff and just resend that email again and see where, you guys stand on that, the BVC. And if you agree with the person, then we're good to go as far as the community representative.
Okay, because the
Good morning,
PNC
everyone. This is Jerome Walker.
5 members. That's why I was asking. And the 5 members have to be involved in any meeting or decision when conducting the call down. So that's why I was asking. Thank you for your answer.
Right.
This is Jerome Walker. Can I be?
Exactly
Can you hear
right.
me?
Hi, Mr. Walker.
Yes.
Good morning, everyone. That gentleman's name was Sean Calloway,
Yes.
and verbally on that meeting, I agreed, and I thought we all agreed to that person. But nevertheless, it's short, and the promotion and transfer committee did not really participate in the last call down. So I don't know how it was done, but we don't have a community person. And matter of fact, the VAL members, our promotion transfer committee had very little to do with that last call down.
And it was because the SLA decided to do it another way. Mr. Delani is really basically handled that call down alone. The BBC had nothing hardly to do with that call down. And we asked the agency why can't the promotion and transfer be associated or connected with the call down. But Mr. Delani was told to do it himself. I'm quite sure he didn't do it by himself, but we didn't have anything hardly to do with that call down. It was Mr. Delani that did a lot with that call down.
With that previous call down, the basis for that was to move it forward because we had a new vendor and also making the micro market and honoring them as vending facilities and not treating them any longer like machines, like they were machines. And all we did was what you would normally do, look at what is available that should go on a call down. And that information was discussed with the PNT, of which, yes, Jelani sits on now, but that was shared amongst all of them. So that undertaking of identifying what should go on a call down would have been the same in any other call down. For my understanding is that, that's determined on what should be there. And then the information goes out and the SLA collects the information and puts it in some type of format. Maybe it wasn't put in a spreadsheet format, but it was put in a consolidated format. And then once again, Jelani being on the PNT discussed it with everybody on the PNT. So they were involved. Everybody on the PNT was informed step by step of the process. So
Okay, this is LaShawn.
what, pardon me?
Can they hear me? This
Just
is LaShawn.
barely.
You said that we were informed of the process, but that was after the fact when Jelani went on and put everything in their on his spreadsheet. So the first preference, second preference rule, after I looked at it, it is not done correctly, because there's no way that somebody that has no locations, now they got one, but somebody that had two locations, he got two more. So it was not done correctly.
Wow.
If you going by the first preference rule.
Okay, that is not the case. I personally developed a spreadsheet that showed what people started with and what people ended with as a result of the call down. And yes, the first preference and second preference rule of thumb was followed. There was no one on there that said, for example, that they started off with 3 sites and ended up with 2 more. It didn't even get to that. And I'll look for that email and I'll recirculate it, or maybe it came from Jelani, but that statement is not correct.
Ms. Monroe, will we be able to?
Because there's no way that 2 people that are at the top of the list still only has 1 satellite. But then, okay, so then they had their partner in the satellite. The 4th person, they got 2 more on top of the 2 that they already had. So how did they get more than the 2 that's at the top?
Okay. This can be a sidebar conversation because we're not in agreement with this. So you and I and the other PNT members, Jelani, we can go over the documentation, but that's just not true.
Well, Ms. Monroe, can I just request that now that we are talking about this amongst the vendors at large, would you be able to send out a sheet that has all the facilities that each vendor has, every last facility, so everyone can, look at them and determine if they've been fairly? I mean, so it's 19 vendors, a list of your primary and satellites, a list of what every vendor has. Can that be sent out to all of us vendors?
Excuse me. This
Yes,
is Dan.
I would like to see that too.
Send
I
out a
would like to see
spreadsheet
that.
prior
Okay.
to the call down, and after they were awarded, you'd be able to see how many each vendor picked up as a result of the call down, and then it would be more clear. So if you had a list of everything that everybody had prior to the call down and everything that everybody had after the call down, you'd see what you're trying to prove.
Okay, I'm taking down all of this. I'm taking down all of the information, and we'll do an assessment of what should or should not go out.
Hey, Miss Sharon, this is Mario. Miss Sharon,
Yes.
this is Mario. I have 5 years in the program, and I don't have any satellite. You know that, right?
Okay. I'm noting this.
And then this time they give me 1, and they give me the information all is 0, 0, 0, 0. That's somebody play with me, or what happened?
Okay, as I recall, I think Jelani, you want to chime in? I wasn't prepared for this.
Yeah, sorry. So,
here.
you should check your emails because I know I sent you the P&L reports that was sent to me by operations that showed there was a mistake on the spreadsheet that just shows zeros, but there was a commission report that was submitted for the new location you received.
Hey, Lani, but I request Life for a long time ago, and some people they get one already. I have 5 years in the program, I never get anything. You know that, right? And somebody, you know.
Well, I know since this first call down that I've been on, I mean, this
Yeah.
was the first call down since I can't remember the 2023 or something like that. So this was the first time, I believe, because of the first preference rule, you were able to get the satellite you received.
Okay.
Mario's comments speak directly to first preference. That tells me right away. If he has he has no satellites, then no matter how much he should, when it came to satellites, he should have been the first one to get one.
Yeah.
Whatever
So
he
he
bid
was
for,
he was
should have
amongst the
gotten.
first ones to get one because of that same reason.
He shouldn't have been among them. He should have been the first one. Whatever he bidded on, if he bid it,
but yeah,
he should have
respectfully,
gotten it.
Mr. Walker, there were other people on the list that were higher, that ranked higher than him that had no satellite either. So they
As
did
well.
outrank him in terms of getting first bids on that, based on the rules as well.
Yeah.
Well, wouldn't some of the vendors, some of the vendors who already had them, weren't they able to get one on each call down? Some vendors had had 2, 3, 4 already, but they were able to get another one. Why is that?
So vendors, if I'm not mistaken, and I don't have the call down, I have to pull it up, but vendors who had 2, 3, 4, multiple, they didn't receive an additional one. But like vendors who, let me try to pull the spreadsheet.
We
Excuse me.
focused on those that had 0 or 1. That's
Right.
how we migrated through the list, and then based on seniority. So that's what I'm saying. We have it all documented. Just give us a chance to go back and pull up what we think we can and cannot share.
Plus, this is actually proof that it wasn't shared with the BBC. Most certainly, the BBC wasn't a part of this. If it was, you wouldn't have to show us. We would have it.
But now this was shared with the BBC. I mean, not the BBC, the PNT, the committee that we represented who went over this. We provided this document to them, and we went over this this list.
And because
it was given after the fact, not during the first. Mr. Jelani, you went on there and you did everything. You said, I hope y'all appreciate what I did. You did not include us in the first, second, third preference. You did not.
So the reason I did is because we went over the listing to see if you had agreed or disagreed. Everybody on the committee agreed when I read through the listing of how the first preferential rule would be. Now, because you disagree now, yes, we might look. I'm sorry?
You should not have done it by yourself. You should have included us in the first, second, and third preference. And you did
that's
not.
what the inclusion was reading the listing to you and saying, okay, now as the committee, do we agree on this? We agreed on it. That's
I did not agree on putting those Michael markers up.
No, okay, yes, you disagreed on that. Yes, you disagreed on that. But the instructions of
the first and second preference rule, when you you said that we were gonna go ahead on forward with it on the 20, I think it was the 26th, which was a holiday, and I said the 27th. But then when we come back, you still say, oh well, I already did it. So you did not include us in that. You chose to put people where you wanted to put people.
This is Brenda Beatty. May I make a statement, please? Normally, the PNT are the ones that look at everything, and the person from the agency is usually the financial person. and they give the
That's right.
financials and any report.
right.
But the PNT are the ones that make that decision on what goes up for call down normally. Now, I don't know,
That
times
is
have changed. But normally, in all the years that I've been in this program, which has been many, many years, and I have participated on PNT for many years as well, and always the chairperson of that committee and the other members are the ones that make that decision, and the person from the agency just chimes in. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, well,
Okay,
I agree.
I was gonna say, thank you for sharing that information. And I just want to say this is that there's nothing that's been written or stated that says that the representative from the SLA needs to be a financial person. And I know we've had this discussion before about the reason why there was a change. We have Jelani on it because he knows about the program, whereas in the past, the financial folks, the previous ones did not know. And so we were bringing value added by having him on it. And as I stated before, really what Jelani did was collect information and put it in a format. That's basically it.
Well, Mr. Delani is really not, basically doesn't know about the promotion and training. He was business analyst in all the years I've been in. So I don't know how he could know all about the promotion and transfer committee. Yes, I agree with Brenda 100%. Normally, the person on the P&T from the agency is a finance person, because the promotion and transfer committee have to know whether a vendor is behind in their sales taxes, behind in levy, whatever. Where else would the promotion and transfer get that information from but the finance person that's on the committee? And when you signed, Mr. Donnie, you all told him what to do. Well, he's not supposed to take over the P&T committee and run it themselves and say to the chairperson, when do y'all want to meet? That's not the agency appointee on the committee's position to do. That is the P&T committee chairperson. That's who's supposed to be calling people, who's supposed to call the vendors, who's supposed to send out or whatever. That is the job of the P&T committee, and the chair leads it.
Okay, let me say this. We're at a point now we're going to have to agree to disagree, and I just want to leave this. Yeah, I just want to leave this with Jelani is part of the PNT. He's not an outsider. He's part of the PNT. So we can have this discussion outside of this vehicle, because we have other things that we have to address. And I appreciate everybody's input. And let's move on to the next topic.
I just want to add one last thing, because the last call down, we did not use the performance rating. So that was the difference. And all we did, like Ms. Sharon said, we just pretty much provided a list of operators who, who fit the realm because of what was going on at the time. Seeing that we had a new vendor that was coming in, and the micro markets were being needed to be assigned. But moving forward, being that we are using performance and seniority points, the P&T will be more, and I guess, involved in the process versus just looking at the spreadsheet.
Well, why did the new vendor get a satellite in a primary and got unassigned? Okay.
Tamara.
Hello?
Hello. Like I said, let's table this. We've got about 20 more minutes and we have some questions that we need to go through. Excuse me. I've made notes and we'll follow back up. Okay, let's see. Let's see.
Tamara, turn this mic on.
You need to mute your phone.
Okay, I have a question here. It says something like, what procedure does the agency follow when awarding a facility to a qualified blind vendor on a temporary basis? So
Oh, yes, that's my question.
okay, so the SLA contacts the BVC for a recommendation when there is a need for facility temporary coverage. The SLA reviews the recommendation from the BVC and either accepts it or rejects it. If no recommendation is generated by the BVC, then the SLA will reach out to others to attain, temporary coverage. So it's pretty straightforward.
Well, I would just like to say, I just found out that the State Department was coming, that you all were temporarily looking for an operator last week when you sent the email of the BBC recordings. I was unaware that there were any BBC recordings that were available for us to listen to. So the BBC did not reach out to the entire vendors at large community, nor did the SLA when it comes to finding a temporary operator. So why wasn't the entire vendors at large community, why didn't y'all reach out? And then whoever, if it's more than one vendor who's interested, y'all supposed to pick the qualified vendor.
Okay, so to reiterate what I just said, what we do is we reach out to the BVC first. Now, how your committee determines what name they forward onto us, that's their decision-making process. So when we
How is that
award
decision,
it-
Ms. Monroe?
excuse-
Because if they could, I'm sorry.
So when they forward a recommendation to us and we feel it's a viable one, then we proceed with it. We have no reason to mistrust what they're forwarding to us.
You asked the SLA asked the committee to
Right.
recommend someone.
Right.
Yes.
Yes. So that's the way it's been working. And it's not, just for the State Department. There have been other vacancies as well.
So that's what I'm saying. So how is the BBC choosing who they pick? Because
Nicole, in the past, we've always done that. Brenda can tell you, because she has served on many places that we had to, like the place HUD, for Jerome Mills, also what's that, 441? So she can tell you the procedures. That is the way it's been done.
Okay. Let's
Now
see.
you can ask Miss Beatty. She can tell you.
May I reiterate may I answer that question, Jesse? Yes, the BBC has it goes to the BBC. Usually the BBC reaches out to the vendors at large. And then if nobody wants to, well, a lot of times people don't want to go into problematic, facilities that are problematic. Then somebody on the BBC will, say, well, I'll take it. Eunice and I have taken quite a few places that were very problematic and ran them together. Department of the Voice of America, I was asked by the agency to run it, which happened to be, and you usually run for 3 to 6 months. That was the rule then. And I ended up staying there 4.5 years because nobody wanted it. Then at Interior, The same thing. Operator wasn't operating it properly. I was asked by the agency to run that. I did. And it was supposed to be for 3 to 6 months, and that's when it was 4 months that I ran it. So yes, but normally it goes out to the vendors at large. If nobody wants it, like I said, a lot of times, if the facility is problematic, a lot of people don't want to touch it. So, somebody from the BBC or whatever will step up and say, okay, yeah, I'll do it. Okay.
So this time the BBC didn't reach out to the entire vendors at large community.
Wait a minute. I'm going to be honest. I don't remember it going out to the vendors at large. I'm going to be honest. I do not remember it going out to the vendors at large.
That seems to me it's unfair if it only goes to the BBC. In this case, it only went to the BBC. Y'all chose the BBC member to operate the State Department instead of contacting various vendors at large communities. And I think that's wrong.
May I say something, Nicole? He was right next to the location. So it made more sense to have somebody closer to the location, somebody who could really get along with state, somebody who didn't go off, somebody who can communicate with everyone and make those people at state happy. So right now, state is.
You got to look at people's past history too, Jesse.
Can I say something? This is Jerome Walker. I hope it shows and tells all of us this is the kind of stuff that happens. This program belongs to all of us, the vendors at large. And I've been a part of vendors at large meetings where there were only BVC members there.
Yes.
So we are very fractured for the reasons that we are.
Come to the meeting.
Excuse me. We are very fractured for the reasons that we are. And it's going to take us getting back together to make this an organization that it should be, and that the SLA responds to all of us in the same way. It's us. And most certainly, who's the president of the vendors at large? He's called meetings, and it's been only BVC members on it.
Jerome, that's not the VAL. That's the association meeting. That's where we will get out most of the information, though. Yeah, but people don't feel obligated.
The VLL,
people don't
the
feel.
VAL is organized.
Let me just say that. Yeah. Let me say this.
The association is outside of the program.
Absolutely. Yeah, but that is the association meeting. And people don't feel obligated necessarily to call into the association meeting. Yeah, we do conduct business at the association meeting, but a lot of the vendors just don't feel like the association meeting is the place to conduct the meeting, so they don't call in. That's why.
The BBC secretary and treasurer are supposed to operate the BBC, and they're supposed to send out a formal email to the vendors at large to have a formal meeting. The BBC and the BBC secretary, not use a social meeting where people get on the platform and argue.
I call in. I call into the meeting. I don't have a problem calling in. But a lot of people don't call in because, it's not a bail meeting.
Well, in the future, Ms. Von Roach, I think you should make sure the entire vendors at large community is aware if the SLA needs a temporary operator.
Okay. I will take that under advisement, but I would like to say Mr. Walker made a very valid point. I really think that the vendors at large and the BVC need to get together and determine, your meeting frequency, what it will consist of, what information stays within the BVC, what information is shared with the VAL. I mean, because and again, this is full circle. You all are electing the representatives in the BVC. So, there needs to be some cohesiveness between you all, and you all need to have that conversation. It's for you all to have and make those decisions.
I need to turn it.
Well, Ms. Von Roche, when the BBC SLA meeting is recorded and it's up on the website, and we can go and get it and listen to it, there's nothing that we don't have privy to. Everything I listened to, they were up on the website, and I went and I listened to every meeting that was up there. I listened to them. So whatever you discuss in the BBC meeting with the SLA, if you don't want the vendors at large, if there are some things that you don't want us to hear, and there certainly should be, especially if it's concerning another vendor, shouldn't be up there.
We
But
said
I
that
listened
before
to
too.
the whole thing. I listened to every meeting. But I mean, that's
Thank
just
you. And that's noted.
Miss Von Roach,
Yes.
can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
And everyone, and I'm listening to what's being said. There was a time when we used to meet regularly, and I heard the statements that were made as far as the association and the reasons why people don't participate. But I think that part came into place because, for whatever the reasons are, we weren't having vendors at large meetings anymore. And the only thing that it seemed that we had where we could come together collectively was through the association. That's the understanding I'm under as to why the association became the place where we tried to pull meetings together so we could get together and discuss a lot of the issues. And you're right, that's not the place to do it, but that's all we have. And for whatever reasons, the agency would not do what we're doing right now, well, what else are we supposed to do? And I'm glad that we're doing this right now. I hope that this is, something that we will continue to do on an ongoing basis, the way that we used to and the way that it should happen.
And this is Jessie. May I say something? May I say something? We had vendors at large meetings once a month. Every month we had vendors at large meetings. We had every month. The agency would call us together. We would either come down to the office. During that time, we would come down to the office. Every month we had a vendors at large meeting.
Okay.
And I want to just say that the BBC has to be here to be, to advocate for every vendor. When I had my hearing and the BBC was trying to take my stores, not one BBC showed up to advocate for me. And that's the BBC's position. It doesn't matter what you feel about somebody, you're still supposed to advocate for them.
Not when they're breaking the law, you don't.
Ain't that the
And
truth?
I agree.
Ain't nobody breaking no law, fool.
Ain't that the
Okay.
truth?
Okay.
Okay, all right, so let's move on to the next question. I hear all of the valid concerns, and I appreciate the conversation and the dialogue. Another question that came up is, can I request to have my levy automatically deducted from my monthly commission payment? The answer is no, that stopped a year ago. That will not be honored, and so you still have to pay your levy. It's not connected to commission. Okay, here's another question. Does the SLA have procedures or guardrails in place to verify that all applicants for the Randolph-Sheppard program meet the 20/200 legal blindness acuity? So, first of all, a person needs to be in the DDS VR program. And so their counselor completes a referral package, and it has 11 different items for consideration to move on to Randolph-Sheppard program for consideration. And one of those items is ophthalmological and or optometrist medical report.
What time is it?
So that is what the guardrail is to
What?
verify whether or not a person in the Randolph-Sheppard program is legally blind.
So will y'all be sending something out now to every vendor to update something from an eye doctor? To turn in something from an eye doctor?
Well, I'm glad
That's
that
not
you
their
raised
responsibility.
that because that is something that we have been talking about, whether or not to do that, how often to do it. I'm going to turn the question back on you guys. What do you think?
I think every 5 years an evaluation needs to be done because people they make it so much new technology now that people's eyesight can be corrected. So I think every 5 years an evaluation needs to be done.
Okay. Anybody
And the
else?
I think we should be reevaluated as well, whether it's 5 years, 2 years, 3 years, and we can probably vote on that. So the information that you get
And why would that come from us
the
and
B-
not DDS? Why would that come from us and not DDS?
You will get an eye
because the
doctor's
person
appointment. You will
ends
get
up in our lap because they end up in our lap. That's one reason, and there may be someone else out there if they don't meet that qualification. Jerome, I think this is Jerome. People do. You have people perpetrating. That happens. Everybody is not honest, like you and me. Everybody is not honest. So, and that was a joke. So, I mean, not for me, but but everybody is not honest. And it just seems like Randolph Shepherd is the best kept secret. So when somebody finds out about it, they can get in under the radar. Everybody, people do perpetrate a fraud.
This is Brenda
I
Baby.
got a
agree.
question.
Period.
I got a question. That is true, but do you all not go to the eye doctor at least once or twice a year?
Absolutely, I do.
Yeah,
I know I do.
But what's your
So all
point?
you have to do is, the point is, if you got the information, then all you have to do is submit it.
Well, then they have to request it. The SLA or somebody has to request that.
yeah.
This is
Brenda
for sale.
Bailey
Don't we
said
do that?
something.
Hello, this is for sale.
Yes.
Don't we do that when every time we renew our Metro access?
No.
Everybody don't have
Yes,
Metro
we do.
access.
Everyone
I said everybody
have
don't
Metro
have
access.
it. I don't have it.
Okay. All right.
For the
Okay.
people who do, you have to do that.
Yeah, you do have to do that every 2 years with Metro Access. Metro Access require you to do it every 2 years. So maybe Randall
Exactly.
Shepherd should require us to turn in an eye doctor form every 2 years.
Exactly.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is that you guys are amenable to having reevaluations done every 2 to 5 years. And I'll have further discussions, but I just want to leave you with that if your eyesight allows you to receive a driver's license in DC or Maryland, it means you are ineligible to be a participant in the DC Randolph Shepherd program. So,
Ms. Sunrose, this is the baby. Is there some way where the agency or their BR counselors can check to see if they have an active driver's license before coming into the Randolph Shepherd program?
I'm writing that down. Yeah, who would check that active driver's license? Okay.
And Ms. Von Roach, I just want to say, I don't think that going forward, I don't think if you've been placed in a corrective action plan, you should not be on the BVC as a chairperson. And I was reminded of that when Mr. Stevens spoke.
Okay. These are all valid points. I appreciate them. Okay, here's a question. Could we discuss the possibility of Randolph Shepherd bidding on a stand at the new RFK Stadium? And if so, who would be the point of contact? Right now, because that project is in its very early stages and limited information has been shared, we're kind of at a wait standpoint, but as more details materialize, the SLA will be in a better position to navigate any possible perspectives, i.e. solicitation, and what are the requirements. But we appreciate the forward thinking. I know there's a lot to that RFK rehab, if you will. So I'm bringing it up here so everybody can keep that on your radar, and we will definitely be tracking when something may be available for us to, bid on or what have you.
Ms. John Roach, have you thought of going out and trying to reopen some of the facilities that we have had that was closed, or what have you? I mean, maybe now this day we can reopen some of those places.
Okay, this is a very good question. I have a monthly meeting with the GSA top management, and how do I say this? We're kind of caught between a rock and a hard place right now. Although the current administration says, hey, everybody come back in. Okay, and so, you do these build outs to accommodate that. And, but then on the other hand, then there is cutback of staff. And because of the cutback of staff, then some buildings are being eliminated or changed or what have you. So at this point in time, it's kind of like a yo-yo. It's like, how do you even know what to ask for to reopen when they're still in the planning phases of what they're going to shut down? But I will take this under advisement. I've tried to ask, hey, what's on the horizon, but they're not going to give any timeline until, it may draw closer to when a site's being closed down. But I have stressed that when buildings are being closed down for whatever reason, it directly impacts Randolph Shepherd. Okay. Maybe one more question, because it is 12:27. This was a question about when the third-party vendors start paying commissions directly to all of the operators, what impact will that have as far as a call down process goes? And it won't have any impact because just like when in normal business, that's going on now, excuse me, we notify even operations the changes that occur. So we'll be notifying the third-party vendors, hey, for building X, vendor Y had it, but now because of a call down process, they no longer have it, but here's a new person in there. So you'll still get your payments. So there shouldn't be any distraction in that regard. Okay, I'm looking at the rest of them real quickly, and like a lot of the questions focus on the solicitation and the election. So we've answered the majority of the questions. I appreciate your time, and I thank you for attending.
Ms. Von Roach, Jerome Walker,
Ms.
can I ask
Van
you
Roach,
a question?
may I ask
have
a question?
Okay.
May I ask a question?
Wait a
I just-
minute,
I wanna know-
wait a minute. Jerome Walker was asking first, and then after him, I think it's Miss Beatty. Okay.
Miles.
Miles.
No, Jesse.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Walker.
Well, I just want to start off by saying, Ms. Von Roach, we went more than 3 years without an adequate SLA. And so, and during that period, it caused a lot of stress on the program. And so I just want to ask you now, do you feel that you all are adequately supported, or are you adequately, do you have everything in place? Staff, there you go. Thank you. Are you adequately staffed for the task ahead? Because it's very important to all of us, because this is our program and we wanted to run. Most certainly, we've had a very tough 3+ years, and a lot of it had to do with the agency not being staffed properly.
Thank you for that question, and it's so timely because we are in the process. As a result of this meeting, I just saw an email from our HR department, and we are going to be moving forward with hiring Jelani's replacement. So when it's all said and done, excuse me, we should then have 4 monitors. So yeah, I think staffing, once we get that extra monitor in, I think we'll be better than where we are now. So thank you for that.
What about Miss Emily Epperson's position?
Yeah,
Her position.
Yeah, we do need an administrative person, but the priority right now is to get the monitor position replaced first, and then I'll move on towards an administrative support for us. Yes, we do need administrative support.
Okay, so my turn. I just want to say thank you, Ms. Von Roach, for this meeting. And it's very clear that we need these meetings, and we need them more frequently than what we're having. And even though we disagree on some things, I'm talking about the vendors at large, I think basically we all want the same thing for the program. And sometimes it comes out kind of rough, and it comes out, like we're really fighting among each other. But the bottom line is that I think we all just want a good program. And I think that we all are, are positioned to make that happen, whatever it takes to make our program work better than what it has been working. So my next A to that is, can we, or are you in a position to schedule another BAL meeting now?
Not right at this point, like right now. I have to check my calendar and everything, but I do agree there should be more regular VAL meetings. So I will commit to that.
Ms. Von Roach.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Van Roach, Eunice pretty much said what I was going to say.
Okay.
About, possibly doing the scheduling of the meetings.
Okay.
I think we really do need them.
Ms. Von Roach?
Yes.
Could you answer my question in the email?
Oh, hang on. Yours came in. Wait a minute here. Let me find that.
We already discussed the BBC elections.
Yeah, it is around the election.
You need to hold your horses.
You want to go ahead and say what it is, Mr. Stevenson?
Yeah, it's about the oath of office, because there was a lot of questions about when it's going to be elected and everything, and when we're going to hold them. But when you get that position and you take that oath, what is the SLA going to do when you violate that oath?
Okay.
I think the vendors that's here should hear it, so everybody can understand whether they're getting the services from the BBC that they supposed to.
Okay.
I agree to abide by the bylaws of the Blind Vendors Committee to be uphold the federal regulations and the District of Columbia laws. Before it mentioned policies and procedures, said District of Columbia laws and guidelines. I will not involve myself in activities and decisions for personal gain, but rather my actions will be based on what I believe is good for the entire body of blind vendors. I'll stop it at that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. And that's the oath. Do you mind sending me your particular copy of that? I would appreciate it.
I
But
sent
yes,
it to
I
Jelani.
noted.
Can
I've
Can
gotta
Jelani give it
do,
to you?
huh?
Can Jelani give it to you? Because I already sent it to him today.
Oh, okay, great. That's great. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, and when you say violations of the oath, so violations of what that oath says. Okay. All right.
I have evidence and documentation to point it out to you if you need that, because I have copied you on some of those things previously.
Okay. Anybody else have any input on this oath assessment?
I agree that if you take that oath and you don't swear to do right by all vendors, I think that you should do right by all vendors.
Okay.
I'll agree with that. I think that when you get elected, you taking on a responsibility, and you should do it to the utmost and believe in what you're doing, and that oath, whatever that oath says, you, whoever it is, should stand by that oath and believe it and do what's right by everyone. The oath to me is really important. Sometimes we used to have to put our hands on the Bible, but we didn't do it this time. But when you put your hands on that Bible, if you're a member on that committee, you're supposed to do right by everyone, and everyone gets treated the same.
Not only this is from debate, not only just to stand by and do right by, but if you're in violation, you should not be on the committee. You should be removed from the committee.
Exactly.
That's why I said if you're in a corrective action plan, you should not be on the committee or be the BVC chairperson, and that has been done.
That process should be worked in there immediately, effectively.
Okay.
Because the SLA has to do something.
Okay, these are all very important points. I've got to, every time something comes up, it's like you got to look up all the rules and regulations to see how you work it through. But
that's your position, Ms. Von Rose. That's what you're here
Ms.
for.
Van Rose, if you see something being done wrong, don't uphold it. Don't uphold it.
Yeah. Okay.
My father said, your word is the Bible.
No, that's true.
And you know what? One thing that probably is not in there, but it's just kind of what you do. I think that when you're on the BBC, it doesn't really matter if you're on the BBC or not, but you have to have respect for the SLA, and of course the SLA has to be respectful to the BBC. But I have heard people use profanity at members of the SLA. That's egregious. That's just as egregious. And when you get so, high and whatever, and you can disrespect your colleagues or other people on the SLA, then there should be some something done about that as well. You shouldn't be able, because we're not children. We're all adults. And you shouldn't have to use profanity to get your point across or act like you want to fight somebody. No, that's not acceptable either.
No, I
agree.
I totally agree. I agree. I think everybody agrees. Okay. Well, I don't want to hold you guys any longer. I appreciate all of the participation, and we will be back in touch. Regular scheduled VAL meetings. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
All right, bye-bye.
Praise the
Thanks,
Lord.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.